Well, with all that's happened in the last week, the Trump kleptocracy just keeps on going. I got a nice new plane, crypto coins that have made him hundreds of millions. Jeff Bezos financed a documentary for Melania that is supposed to make her $28 million minimum. His big, beautiful budget, West Point address, 2 a.m. rant against Harvard University is something that may have slipped past you. He also declared a fatwa against the Democrats or the non-Trump Republicans or independents. He said in one of his comments, I think this is really important, but got very little coverage. He said, "We're not going to be benefiting Democratic governors. We want to benefit Republicans. They're the ones that are going to make America great again."
That's
He
his
said
big budget bill, right? He's talking about his big, beautiful budget.
his point being
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he doesn't want blue states to benefit from any of his projects, any of his budget, and he's going to punish us. And I think that says it all. It gives us the go ahead for doing
Permission.
every, yeah, to doing whatever we can to oppose him in as aggressive a manner as possible.
Well,
And
yeah, and I think, we can wring our hands and we can say this isn't right and we can get all upset, or we can calmly just do business without him, right?
mhm,
We could start
mhm.
the process.
He says he doesn't want to do anything to benefit us. When he says governors, obviously he's talking about blue states, and we're all affected if we live in
Of
a blue
course.
state like California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Connecticut. There are there are more people in blue states than there are in red states. There is
And, and,
considerably more
yeah,
money
right.
uh, between 2018 and 2022. Individuals and businesses in blue states contributed nearly 60% of all federal tax receipts. 60%, yet we received only 53% in federal expenditures. And you know that what that amounts to? Over $1 trillion
Hmm.
transfer of wealth from
From
blue
blue to red
states
states.
to red
Yeah,
states.
yeah.
That's right.
And in every single survey that you see, whether it's childhood poverty, whether it's income, the level of income, whether it's level of education, whether it's crime, in every single survey, those surveys are and broken down by state. Those surveys are heavily, uh, you
Well,
know,
you can say
red
we
state
don't need
heavy.
even to see the published results.
No,
We can simply say when you're talking about childhood poverty, Mississippi,
education.
Alabama, but I'm saying you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
say on all of those,
All of them. The South,
you
this
know the
Bible
states
Belt.
are
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
and
Deep
but
red states, the
in,
deepest
in
of the deep red states.
in any event, your idea is that the governors of these states or other leaders have to get together and come up with a way to fight this.
Yeah, a coalition of blue states get together. I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, we say, well, we've got to elect more Democrats in Congress. We've got to really focus in on electing more Democrats. Well, of course you do, but we are. Let's come to the understanding. I mean, we're there. We've been there. We are hopelessly divided in this country. Hopelessly. I'm name a Democrat or a Republican that could be elected that would quote bring this country together. Take all the time you need. Give me anybody, any Democrat that could be elected, for instance, that we could put up there that would bring the Republicans along. They're conditioned to despise anything that Democrat with a D next to anybody with a D next to it. They hate the blue states. They hate us. We support them. We contribute to them. They hate us for it.
As an example, in California, per person, we pay $10,510 in federal taxes that go to Washington.
Hmm.
In Mississippi, on the other hand, they pay half that, 5,740.
Hmm.
And there's example after
Hmm.
example, blue versus red.
And it's not
So if
helping
he
them.
if he is saying he doesn't want to do anything to help us, we should try to do nothing to help him.
I mean, think of the if we weren't sending that deficit, we being the blue states, if we did weren't sending that, we could and we kept that money at home, and we're obviously better at it because all those studies about the economies of the blue states are way better and all that sort of thing. Think of the powerhouse. Look, I mean, California is what 4.1 trillion GDP or over 4.1 trillion now, the fourth largest economy on the planet.
Mhm.
Think if we got together with Washington and Oregon and Illinois and Colorado, and then let's go to Minnesota, and then we go to the eastern New England states and Massachusetts and New York, and think about that. Think about and Virginia and places like that. Think about the economic powerhouse that would be. It would be instantly if it were to be separated from the red states, it would still be the dominant economy in the world. We'd be a
And
little closer to China, but we'd still be dominant.
we could cut Trump right off at the knees. How to do that is the question, of course, and I
Well,
have no idea, nor do you, I don't think.
here's what you got to do. There are a lot smarter people than me. The blue state governors ought to start talking about it. They ought to get together and meet. Bring I don't know, get together first of all, you got to name people to head up this study. Each state should contribute some personnel to it. We'll start having meetings. You can tap into the institutions of higher learning, the wonderful colleges that we have on the East Coast. You've got Harvard and all the Ivy League schools. We've got Stanford and UCLA and the out here in the West Coast, and every state has its thinkers, has its economists and the bright people. Tap them, tap that brain power, come up with it. You got to deal with debt. Obviously, if we were to separate, we'll
And
take
listen,
our portion of the debt.
he can stretch the Constitution any way he wants to say, for instance, the emoluments clause doesn't matter. I can make hundreds of millions of dollars
Mhm.
and do it on the backs of the American people if I want to. And he's even got a plank in his new budget that would dictate to courts that
Mhm.
they can't do anything about it. They can't enforce any sanctions that they place on him. This makes it a dictatorship. What
Well,
we need to do is be able to separate
yeah,
ourselves from
yeah.
that dictatorship.
And each of these states should start the process of getting this initiative on their ballots so you can let the people weigh in on it. Are you interested in this? You interested in studying this possibility? Get it on the ballot.
Mhm.
Let's start now. It's a decade long process to even get anywhere close to having a theory, but we're not
But
going to ever get together with the red states.
somebody on Facebook this week said, "Oh, the Democrats aren't doing anything." I said, "What do you expect them to do? They are shouting from the halls of Congress, one right after the other. They're making some great statements. For any self-respecting individual, they'd
Mhm.
embarrass the hell out of Donald Trump, but you can't do anything. We don't have any power. We
And
have,
and and here's the deal. We talk about elections. If the Democrats sweep the next elections, all they're going to say is you stole the elections. I mean, none of all of
well,
this doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Elections, okay, yeah, we'll do some more.
Well, it
We'll
matters.
try that again.
It definitely matters.
Well,
We're going to have to just keep the pressure up. Do I totally agree that the Democratic governors should be talking to each other about solutions, and I hope that they are. I hope that's not just our suggestion. We wouldn't know about it if they were. But we do have to take the midterms. We have to keep the momentum going. We have to embarrass this administration to the point that a few senators may change their course. We just have to do something. It's just imperative that we continue to fight. Just look at our Constitution, look at the founders and what they have done, and say to yourself, we got to do something.
we're
We
pissing it away, folks. In our this generation, the generation who
I
are
don't think
living
people
today.
really understand what is happening. I just don't think because they go about their lives and they have their kids and they have their holidays and whatnot and they aren't particularly in any particular individual way troubled by it. But what's happening is that your country is drifting into totalitarianism. If that isn't enough to shock you, then I don't know what it takes. Believe it. Believe it. Look at everything that they're doing. And did you see the picture, the banner of Trump right beside Lincoln
Oh
at
yeah,
the
he hung
Department of
it.
Agriculture
This
building?
is, I mean, where's the Saddam Hussein style statue
Yeah.
in one of the central squares in D.C. or wherever?
But those banners you see in, wherever
Yeah,
you go in one of those shithole countries that he
yeah,
talks about, you see banners of their leader, Haiti. This is like Haiti. We're imitating Haiti. So we've gone beyond our five
yeah.
minutes.
One thing I want to point out, you mentioned right at the outset, one of the things that happened this weekend, the West Point address that was, I won't go into the details, but I thought it was interesting. The cadet honor code that's posted on a big
Uh-huh.
monument right outside of West Point. A cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. That's the credo for the
Yeah.
the
And
military academy
and
credo.
by the way, about the trophy wives, oh well, let's just leave it there.
Yeah, we'll just move on from that. God, we're in trouble.